Photosynthesis and cell respiration are both two processes that happen within the cell. It's a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is when two or more molecules or compounds interact to form new ones. Typically, something tends to occur. For instance, on Monday or on Tuesday, we created slime. We had two raw materials or things that go in. You had your borax mixture and your glue mixture that yield or produced your products, which was our slime. So one of those chemical reactions is photosynthesis. That's the process that plants and other organisms use to convert sunlight, energy into sugars, to be then used for their food. So what exactly is photosynthesis? Remember, photosynthesis is a chemical reaction that occurs in the chloroplast. It's where the plant makes its food. Why do we think it's important, though? I want you to take a minute to think about this. Hopefully you thought about these couple things that are listed here. Because we can't make our own food, so we must get our food from plants. Plants are also the first links in the food chain. Also, oxygen that's released or made during photosynthesis, is necessary for all living things, especially us. As a matter of fact, 90% of that oxygen is a result of photosynthesis. So stop cutting all those trees down and plant a tree. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of photosynthesis, you gotta get at two key terms. You've got chlorophyll, which is a green pigment that's in plants that's used to help capture that sun's energy. Then you have something called stomata. Stomata, remember, these small openings on the undersides of the leaves where the gas exchange happens. Okay, you're thinking, what kind of gases? Carbon dioxide comes in, oxygen leaves the cell. Take a minute to fill in your notes while I go over what happens. Remember, plants capture light energy or from the sun and use that energy to make the glucose, their food. That sunlight provides the energy needed by the chlorophyll, remember that's the pigment in the chloroplast, to change those molecules of carbon dioxide and water into the glucose, the food. Remember, oxygen is also released in this waste product. For the chemical reaction to occur, we have our raw materials, or remember what goes in, and then you have your products. Listed below are your raw materials and your products. First, you have your raw materials, carbon dioxide, which is CO2, and H2O, which is water. Then you have your sunlight. Your sunlight is needed for the reaction to occur. That's why it's in the middle of your raw materials and products. Notice that I've written in the products. You have C6H12O6. I know that's a huge molecule, but it really just makes glucose, which is their food. Then you have O2, which is oxygen. I know you're thinking, who takes that in? Animals do. With all the raw materials and products, we come to a chemical equation. Notice that I have added your chemical equation, 6 CO2 or 6 carbon dioxides plus 6 H2O or 6 waters yields or produces, with the help of sunlight, C6H12O6, which is one glucose molecule, and 6 O2s that are produced then for the animal to take in. This is how they make glucose. This is where you're going to go to work now. At the bottom of your notes page, you're going to draw a picture of photosynthesis. I have included an example for you. Okay? Please label and include what things go into photosynthesis, so carbon dioxide, water, light energy, and what things go out, or those are your products, your oxygen, and your sugars. Do this now. Once you have finished your picture, you can continue on with the video. Here is some practice for you. What does CO2 mean? Think about it. And I'm going to move the answer. 6H2O is your water droplets. Your light energy is your sun. Your C6H12O6 is your glucose molecules. And that also produces your oxygen.
What is Photosynthesis by E.B. Harvey? Did you know that the air you breathe comes from plants? You probably know that plants, trees, and flowers need sun and water to grow. But do you know why? The answer to both of these questions is a big, funny-sounding word and one really cool process called photosynthesis. We can break this word up into two parts. Photo, which is Greek for light, and synthesis, which is Greek for putting together. Photosynthesis is exactly that, using light to put things together. During photosynthesis, plants make food and produce the air that we breathe every day. For photosynthesis to happen, plants need three important things: water, light, and carbon dioxide. I know you know what water and light are, but have you ever heard of carbon dioxide? It is a gas that is all around you and is necessary for photosynthesis. When humans and animals breathe, we inhale a bunch of different gases from the air, but the most important one is called oxygen. When we exhale, carbon dioxide is what comes out. Plants breathe too, but they do the opposite of humans and animals. When they inhale, they breathe in carbon dioxide and exhale out oxygen. Let's take a look now at the cycle of photosynthesis in action. When it rains, water gets absorbed into the ground. Plants suck up water and other minerals through their underground roots. Next, small pores on the underside of leaves, called stomata, bring in carbon dioxide from the surrounding air. Once plants have both water and carbon dioxide, all they need now is sunlight. Light, which is also a form of energy, gets absorbed by the leaves. Plant leaves are made up of a bunch of tiny cells, and in these cells are even tinier things called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are what make leaves green, and they are where carbon dioxide, water, and light are turned into sugar and oxygen. The products of photosynthesis are glucose, which is sugar, and oxygen. Both plants and animals need glucose for energy to do just about anything. Work, think, digest, breathe, the list goes on and on. When you eat fruits and vegetables, you are eating glucose. And finally, oxygen is given off as a waste product and sent back out into the atmosphere. Pretty cool, huh? If it weren't for the big, funny-sounding cycle called photosynthesis, humans and animals and plants couldn't eat, breathe, or survive on Earth. So what's stopping you? Go out and hug a tree to show it how much you appreciate it today.
Created using Powtoon.
Once you have finished your notes for photosynthesis and gone through this video, please complete the 2 practice assignments on the back of your notes. We will review these tomorrow in class.